Welcome to Ask Me Anything, featuring spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.
Well, hi, everybody. I made it. It wasn't me. It's this pre-shadow Mercury retrograde. And I have a feeling it's going to be a real son of a bitch, this one. Today is June 25th, 2026. I have a lot to say, and I'm going to say hi to everybody that I can. We lost a lot of the comments, unless I think Jared's going to bring our comments over so I can see them, because I was looking at everything. I think this is going to be a real humdinger, the Mercury retrograde that is on June 29th, but we're in this pre-shadow time, and it's not so shadow, is it? It's like fully coming out. I swear to God, it's unbelievable. And I have a lot to talk about tonight. So where do I begin? Hold on, everybody. Let me say hi to a few people, and then I'm going to do the astrology, and then I'm going to talk about all kinds of the auras and aura sprays and all of that. It's going to be that I'm really excited to talk about. We are going to talk about that. Got me knocked off my energy. Here we go. But I'm right back here. We're going to be talking about spiritual cleansing, aura sprays, and energy protection. So I'm really excited about that. And hi, Renee. Oh, I know you're so grateful for this topic. It really is. It's one of my favorite topics. Hi, Dee from Chicago. Yes, today our weather is really good. And I think, like a lot of you, we have had some really bizarre weather. We had tornado warnings again yesterday. Just when you think it's not going to happen, and then it does yet again. And remember all those earthquakes yesterday. From what I understand, yesterday there was a solar flare or a solar storm yesterday, with especially when the two earthquakes hit in Venezuela. There was actually a solar storm going on at that time. Is there a connection? Probably. That's what I'm going to think that there is. But let me say hi again to the Children's School of Yoga. Hi, and Patty Campbell and Rose and Michelle. Hi there, Michelle. Oh my gosh, Snowy Owl Intuitive Services. Look up Snowy Owl Intuitive Services. She's got a great website, and she does the card reading and meditations every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So please join her, and I love to be there. I'm there as often as I can, so I'm really excited about it. Hi, Bailey. Hi, Carlene. Hi, Patty. Hi, Matt from Niagara Falls. How cool is that? You know, I've always wanted to go there. I've never been there. My screen is blurry. Now, how can that be? Oh, shocker. Let's see if that helps. Oh my gosh. I have to tell you guys what happened the other day on the show I did with Shirley on Tuesday's show, Psychology and the Soul. I don't know, a lot of people heard this. Oddly enough, my husband didn't hear this because he's got like the most incredible hearing ever. But we had some background noise for Tuesday's show with Shirley, and it was like a whistle. It was like an oddball whistle, and it was just so annoying. I couldn't figure out what it was. And after the show, I said to Shirley, "Did you hear that whistle?" And she said, "Oh, yes." And I said, "Well, what was it?" And she said, "It was a hawk outside of her house." So yes, Laura, the birds are vocal. And apparently this hawk just stayed there the entire show making whistling sounds. So I apologize for that. It was the strangest thing. Anyway, and before I get into the astrology, I'm really excited because I'm going to watch the final season of The Bear. So I'm really looking forward to that. It starts tonight. And if you are The Bear, if you follow that show, it's so good. So we're going to be watching that. I just love that show. And I also want to mention something too, before we get into the astrology. There were 3 musicians that recently passed. And I just wanted to make note of that. We are in a strange time, but Walt Perezader from Chicago passed away, and he was the co-founder of the band Chicago, and a friend of Don's, and certainly a friend of you, Larry, if you're listening. And it was very sad, I think. And also, a really wonderful friend of ours passed away, and he was from the Diamondville group, the Neil Diamond Group, and the family of the Neil Diamond Group is been called the Diamondville. And so it was Tom Hensley who passed away, and Tom Hensley was with Neil for I think 40 or plus years as the piano player. And I had a special relationship with Tom because when I was very young, as a little girl, he was from Indianapolis and my father was from Indianapolis. And so my father sponsored, as a jazz musician, sponsored Tom and his wife, Sarah, to come and live with us in our house in Toluca Lake, California. And they lived with us until then Tom got the job with Neil Diamond. And to make it full circle, when Don and I started dating, he said to Don, "Who are you dating?" And he told him, and he said, "That little blonde, curly-haired girl." Yep. Anyway, Tom was the most creative genius ever. So we will miss him a lot. And then I heard today that David Clayton Thomas died from blood, sweat, and tears. I mean, this has all been like 1, 2, 3. These were very powerful forces of nature. So interesting times that we are indeed living in. Hey, Gloria Shear, how are you? How's your family, honey? Give them my love. So it's really good to see everybody. And hey, Sherry, how are you, honey? Oh my gosh. So yeah, definitely the Mercury retrograde is going to be playing some havoc on us. But let's talk about the Mercury retrograde coming up. Now we can already feel it, and I'm already experiencing it. Oh, great. And this, in using Vedic astrology, it begins on June 29th. Let me get that right. June 29th. And it goes until July 23rd. And in Vedic astrology, the Mercury is in Cancer. And so Mercury retrograde in Cancer, the theme is going to be rethinking your feelings. Cancer is emotions, it's feeling. It also has a lot to do with family communications. So I suspect families will come together. It's summer. Do you travel together? Those kind of things. But also, it also will have to do with a lot of emotions probably around families. A lot of domestic. It's domestic. It's a domestic. Cancer is domestic. But Mercury retrograde brings delays. So if you are planning on traveling, like I am, I'm actually planning to be with my family. That's right. During Mercury retrograde in Cancer. And so you always just pack your patience when Mercury is retrograde and you are going to travel. A lot of people, it's the summer, a lot of people are going to be traveling. But Cancer relates to the home and to the mother and to emotions and security. And so Mercury retrograde will actually ask you, maybe to reword some of your emotional narratives that you have been saying and maybe reevaluate how you communicate, particularly with family. And there's a reflective quality to this particular Mercury retrograde. And that's because of this nakshatra called Punarvasu. And that emphasizes a time for stillness. And it allows you to return to some past ideas that you've had. So Mercury retrograde is really good for that. In this particular case, very good because it's about healing emotional wounds. So seeking like light rather than rushing forward, seeking to go inward. So it's also going to be spanning this nakshatra from Gemini into Cancer. And that's known as the star of renewal. So it represents the return of light and it has that do-over quality. So let's say there's been a situation where you just need to do a do-over with somebody. This could really help it. It will help you to bounce back from adversity. So let's say you think you've been so stuck over a situation, whatever, it will allow you'll start feeling like, what, I can do this. I can do this. And everybody is has adversity. And also everybody, it's good to have an opportunity for a do-over. So think like that. But themes in this particular Mercury retrograde, it always starts with a R-E, like and this time it's relaunching a project. So let's say you've had a project that has been kind of maybe dormant or you haven't done anything with it. This is actually good for relaunching it, or restarting a business. Meaning you don't have to start it during this period, but you start reflecting on, I think I'll bring that back. It also has a lot to do with moving back home or moving back or returning home. And it also has a lot to do with home renovations. So if you are thinking about doing home renovations, but it also can bring family harmony and family reconciliation. So that's always really good to know. So again, with Mercury retrograde, I can already feel it. I think I just experienced it. I think it's going to be a doozy. I do. I think it's a doozy. But also, and that's on June 29th. But guess what? That's just not enough. On June 29th, we also have a full moon. So it's very much a powerhouse. Next week, I'll be talking about the month of July. And July's a real powerhouse. I mean, talk about transformation. Oh my gosh. I think this June 29th full moon is going to set us up for July. But this full moon is in Sagittarius using Vedic astrology, and it is in the nakshatra called Purvashada, which means truth and justice. So Purvashada is known as the invincible star, and it's governed by Venus, and it's represented by like a fan, and it's associated with the water deity. So it has a lot to do with emotional cleansing. Again, this full moon going along with the Mercury retrograde. It's going to be a very powerful time period. That day will be very powerful, and it'll be powerful, again, a few days before and a few days afterwards. But it's about the process of separating the metaphorical wheat from the chaff. And I've talked to a lot of clients lately that are going through like what we'll call a pruning stage, like not even trying, just things are just trying to fall off them, the old ways to think, the old people, the old things. So you'll see that this period, especially when we get to July really launches us into some deep energy of and deep spirituality in growth and changing forward. And how do we really grow? It's often by doing this letting go of things that no longer serve us or no longer are important for us or something that's holding us back. And I will talk about it. Saturn is going retrograde in July, and we will talk about that because really July it's a big one. It's a large month, as they say in Texas. So because this full moon, it's in Sagittarius, which is a sign defined by Jupiter's expansive wisdom and higher principles, the themes of truth and ethics and justice will be highly illuminated. So it's really an ideal moment to shed your limiting belief systems, okay, and all of your emotional baggage. And again, if you don't do it during this time period, I guarantee the next July, that'll do it. So there you go. And go ahead and put your crystals out for clearing and meditate and journal. It's really good time for planting long-term family home projects. Okay, so that is a little bit of the astrology for the rest of June. But let's get into our topic tonight because I think it's a very exciting to talk about for me. It's spiritual cleansing, aura sprays, and energy protection. So I have one of mine that I made that I will share the recipe and talk about. But let's see, do they actually work? Or are they really just symbolic? Because that's something that I've always been curious about. For me, the answer is they work. They just work. And so I just want everybody to know, if I'm in a difficult situation or I'm not even a difficult situation, just because I want to feel better, I just take my aura spray and I just do this with it. I just spray it and I feel it's amazing. I love the smell of it. I just love it. I don't know. Just love it. But have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt something like maybe the room felt heavy? I mean, we've all had that, especially as empaths out there, right? Maybe a person that you were seeing, you felt like you were drained from. By the way, I'm teaching a class with Shirley on Saturday. If you feel drained from certain people, you might want to take our class, but I will talk to you about that a little later. But maybe you left a conversation like your whole mood had changed, like something was way off. You could come home from work. You could come home from a hospital. Oh, I've spent a lot of time in different hospitals for various reasons. And I always felt just uncomfortable when I would leave a hospital, or again, even a funeral, of course, or a crowded store. And you might think, why do I feel so off? So it's, it could be that, the energy you're carrying is not yours. It just could be you just picked up a lot of things. So do spiritual cleansing tools really work? I'm going to say yes, they do. But I think you have to understand them like properly. And so sage or salt or crystals or aura sprays or incense or prayer or sound or water, visualization, these are not random gestures or random objects. They carry meaning, they carry history, they carry a vibration, and they carry intention. And, James and I have always been talking about intention. What is the intention? So when we work with them consciously, they can really support a very real energetic shift because everything has energy. People have energy, again, good energy, not so good energy. Energy you might want to run from. Homes have energy. I love that, I feel like when I walk into my home, the energy is really good. I have walked into many homes where you just are like, ooh, whoa, something's off here. So objects have energy. And I think one of the questions that I'm going to answer, I think, Charlene, you had asked me this question about like antiques. I'm very, very cautious if I were to find an antique. For me, I just am. And I know there are people that love to go antiquing, which is really a fun thing to do. I'm just more cautious on that, depending on the energy of it. If it feels good, that's different. If it doesn't feel good, I don't think so. But everything has energy to it. And people have energy. Homes have energy. Grief has an energy about it. I worked with somebody yesterday who had lost a spouse. And I don't think she had any idea how the grief was affecting her. She was totally in grief, totally, and kind of was in denial about it. It was interesting. Our dog Otis is in grief. I'm going to say he's about 10%, possibly better, 10%. And our beloved Charlotte has been gone for 3 weeks tomorrow. And so I'm going to say he's about 10%. And for those asking, we are going to rescue another dog probably in a couple of months. So, but yeah, so grief has a real energy. Fear has a real energy. Prayer has an energy, right? So when we cleanse, we're not just pretending to feel better. We are intentionally shifting that energetic field around us and within us. So spiritual cleansing is the practice of clearing stagnant energy, like heavy or even unwanted energy from your body, from your home, from your workspace, or from your spirit, however it is. Now, I work out of my home, right here out of my office, and in between seeing people, I get up and I go outside and I will use my aura spray, not because anybody had bad energy. It has nothing to do with that for me, because the people I work with tend to be really lovely, lovely people. So, but it just makes me feel better. It makes me feel a lot better. So again, it's not about fear. It's not because something's wrong with you. It's about maintenance. Like we clean our homes, we take showers, we clear clutter, which is always a good thing to do. We open windows, we change our sheets, we take showers. And spiritual cleansing is very similar, but it works with energy. So if let's say you had a fight in your house, that energy can linger. So if you've been grieving, sometimes that heaviness can sit in that space. So if you work with people who are hurting, you may absorb some of that emotional residue. I've actually had somebody say that to me yesterday, that she had been working with somebody and she absorbed all of that, some very, sad energy. But again, we don't have to do that. If you're highly intuitive or you're empathic, you may pick up on things that others may not. But cleansing says that this space is sacred again. So you kind of want to remember that. Again, consciousness, being aware is everything. My body is mine again. My energy is clear again. I return to myself. So are aura sprays symbolic or energetic? Well, they can be both. And aura sprays are often made with water and essential oils and flower essences and herbs and crystals, or very intentional blends. And so those ingredients have their own energetic properties. So I made this, and I'll tell you how I did this. I made this in December. I just love it. I made several bottles of it actually, and I gave them as gifts. And I have lavender in here, and I have frankincense in here, and I have lemon in here. I just put the whole thing in. And I have lots of different crystals in here. And you make it with distilled water, and I used vodka. I did. Or you could use witch hazel, whatever they call it. But I just liked it with vodka. So I did that. But I just love it. And so lavender supports peace and calm. So sometimes that's a good one. Rose opens the heart or helps to heal the heart. Frankincense, which I really have always, it's the oddest thing, been drawn to that one. It deepens the spiritual connection. So I love that. Cedar is very grounding. And eucalyptus, I love that for the shower, actually. Eucalyptus clears and refreshes. So these are some of the things that you can spray around your body, and you're creating a sacred pause. And you're telling the energy field, I'm clearing, I'm protected, I'm present, I'm calling my energy back. And so often I will do this again before a session, or even if somebody comes over to the house or whatever, I just walk in my room and I go, I think I'll give this a go. So I really love to do that. And you can, if you want, I have on my website, if you can put that up, Jared, I actually have a do-it-yourself kit that you can get on my website, kelleewhite.com. Jared, are you able to put that link up? Now it's no longer there, but it was there, and now I don't see it. Oh, here it is, kelleewhite.com/product/aura spray do-it-yourself kit. There you go. And you can pick and choose a bunch of different things, and that's really a wonderful thing to do. That you can do. And what else? And how I make mine is I just added, I used distilled water, a little vodka, kind of equal portions, I think, of each, and then little crystals in it. And then I chose lemon and frankincense, and and some lavender. And I just love that combination. So anyway, that's something that you can do. Now, sage and smoke and clearing traditionally is used for clearing and purification. And the smoke moves through a space and symbolically and energetically carries away the heaviness, stagnation, or unwanted energy. I remember once I was at my mother's house, and she had a patient that was over at the house. And this patient was going through a divorce. And she said to me, because my mother was, I think, in the other room, she said to me, do you mind if I sage this? Because my ex-husband is this and this and this. And I was like, yeah, okay, go ahead. And she didn't open any of the windows. I thought my mom was going to not be able to breathe. It was pretty rough. So we opened up all of the windows and all the doors and everything that we could. It was some strange energy, I will tell you that. So, but when you use sage, respect matters. And it's not just a decor. It's not just a trend. It really is a sacred plant with deep ceremonial roots to it. So when you clear a space, you might say, I clear this space of energy that it is not aligned. I'm sorry, that it is aligned with love, peace, and truth and healing. So you want to get everything aligned, and you can move through doorways and corners and windows. I've seen people do this like really in the corners of the windows and places where energy feels dense. And then you open a window, which is what we had failed to do. Open up a window, and then all that old energy leaves. And then smoke cleansing is really powerful because it engages the senses and the spirit and the intention all at once. So I remember several years, like in the year 2001 or two, I was working with a Native American man in Taos and helping me with my head injury. And we talked about smoke. Smoke was really important for like clearing the energy and working with spirit. And it was an interesting thing for me to learn about. And now salt is also used for purification. Sometimes it'll be for protection, but for purification, and that's been used for centuries. It absorbs things, and it preserves things, and it protects things, and it creates a boundary. So you can use salt in a bath. Back in the day, that's what we did a lot of. We took salt baths along with baking soda. Let me see, baking soda, salt, and then some sort of an essence, whether it be lavender or not, or whatever it happened to be, to just for the purification, and put that into a bath. Oh, it was extraordinary. And especially as I was dealing with the fact that now all of a sudden I'm psychic and a medium, all of that thing, because it hit me so hard at once. So I had to learn a lot of different things to do to help regulate my energy and help get rid of energy that was no good. So the salt baths were really, really good. Yeah, you can use Epsom salt for that, because especially after you've had a really emotionally intense day, like just to clear the body and to soothe your nervous system. And, Shirley and I talk about that a lot. So salt is especially helpful when you feel emotionally heavy, spiritually drained. Again, let's say you're on this spiritual track and you are dealing with maybe your psychic development is coming up, or you're a healer, your Reiki is coming in. So if you feel emotion, or you're an empath and you pick up everybody's energy, this would be a really good thing to do, to take a bath with Epsom salt. So, and then crystals, of course, I love my crystals. Crystals carry their own frequency and their own meaning, and you may be drawn to one because your energy recognizes what it needs. It's up there with food. You might say, I crave a green drink today. It's because your body is needing that. I crave oranges. Well, you probably need vitamin C. So in this way, crystals are the same thing. Like, it's amazing how certain crystals will call you, or you feel drawn to them, because it's the energy that you need. So let's say you need to be really grounded. Black tourmaline is good for that, or selenite is good for clearing and cleansing other crystals. Amethyst is really great for intuition and peace. And rose quartz, of course, supports love. And clear quartz amplifies your intention and clarity. So that's always really a good one. So you don't need every crystal. Just, use the one that is calling you at that moment, because that'll help. So emotional energy versus spiritual energy. And this is important because as a psychotherapist and a spiritual medium, I do believe we all need to understand what discernment is. So sometimes you are not under energetic attack. You just might be tired. Not everything is an energetic attack. You just might be tired. Sometimes your aura does not need cleansing. It just means your nervous system needs some rest. Okay. Sometimes it's spiritual. Sometimes it's emotional, and sometimes it's both. But emotional energy feels loud and reactive and anxious or repetitive. And spiritual energy feels more subtle, intuitive, symbolic, like more, and a deeply knowing. So, if you leave a deeply difficult conversation and you feel heavy, that's emotional energy, right? So if you keep sensing a presence or noticing signs or dreaming of a loved one, that would probably be spiritual energy. And so you could always ask yourself, what am I feeling? Where did this begin? Does this feel like mine? Does this feel like something I need to release? What is spirit trying to show me? Okay. And just remember too, certain people and places can affect us. And so certain spaces hold energy. That's why you think, oh, I love the beach, or I love this because it makes me feel good or not good, wherever, depending. And hospitals can hold fear, but they also can hold hope. They can also hold grief, but they also can hold healing. Do you see? And churches and temples, they may hold prayer. Old homes may hold old memories, right? And funerals can hold sorrow and love at the same time. Crowded places can feel chaotic because everybody's carrying something. When I was diagnosed with ADD, I finally figured out why I could not go into a mall. I just couldn't go into a mall. And if I did, my poor daughter, I'd say, come on, let's go. You have to buy shoes. Let's go. I mean, it was like, full, gear. Let's go. And then let's get out. I mean, that poor girl, she had bought shoes like in 5 minutes because I couldn't do it. But anyway, so just remember, and some people leave us feeling peaceful. Some people leave us feeling inspired. And some people leave us feeling exhausted. So always pay attention to any of that, and really take really good care of yourself. So, you don't need 20 crystals. You don't need to buy expensive sprays. You don't need a 2-hour ritual. Here are some of my favorite things to do. Wash your hands with intent. Wash your hands with to be intentional with it. And especially after difficult conversation, Or even if you're doing, sometimes I'll do readings and I will just go back, wash my hands, and again, clear my space. I release everything that is not mine to carry. And that has served me very well. But you can also turn your shower into like a spiritual reset. At Trader Joe's, they sell eucalyptus things, and sometimes I put those in the shower, and I just love it. Or you can just get sprays and take a shower with that. Or imagining, and James taught us this a long time ago, imagining, pure white light coming into the shower, and it just takes care of every difficult conversation or every heavy emotion or all of that, just washing down the drain. And give yourself permission to experience all of that. I also open the windows a lot and let go of a lot of that. So, and again, if you want to make your own aura spray, do it. It's really simple to do. Or you can go to my website, kelleewhite.com, and you can find one there. Okay. So I think I'm going to take a lot of your questions. Oh, I do have here was a couple of questions here. Well, before I even get into the questions, let me just say this. First of all, this Saturday, Shirley and I are teaching our class, and we're really excited because it's going to be interactive. It's a smaller group. So if you'd like to join us for this Saturday, it's an online Zoom class. Here it is. Why do they act that way and what you can do about it? Because certain people do trigger us. And we're going to be looking at, first of all, I want everybody, if they feel like participating, to participate, because it will be interactive, and we will be taking, if you individually, if you have a question about this person in your life or that person in your life, and we'll have the time to go over all of this. So it's kind of like having a deep therapy session with Shirley and with me. And so I think everybody will learn everything because we're going to cover a lot, but it's interactive. It's going to be an interactive class. I think you guys will like it. It's from 11 in the morning Central Time to 1. It's only a 2-hour class, I think 9 a.m. Pacific. So, and also in July, I just want to remind you guys, I will be doing next Thursday on July 2nd, I will be doing an Ask Me Anything. But the rest of the month of July, I'm going to take off for the shows for my Psychology in the Soul and for Ask Me Anything. I'm going to take a summer break on that, but my calendar will be open for private sessions. So I am going to be traveling from like the 10th to like the 20th. And other than that, I will have time in my schedule, I think the first week in July, and then the last couple of weeks in July. So please go to my schedule. And if you've been thinking about having a session with me, it's a great time to do that. Okay. And so anyway, Carlene Reese says, when my daughter was living here, she said she saw some black mass come out of my closet. I went in there with sage and my feather, and I was saying my intention. There you go, Carlene. And I got all over body chills. I saged that room so much that the smoke hung in the air. Whoa. Do you think it's possible to bring bad energy home with yard sale items? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Or that bad energy can attach to a person. We've not had any more issues. I think that all that is possible. I mean, who was selling the energy, or who was selling the energy? Who was selling what? Where did that item come from? Like, what was the history of the item? Might get some of the greatest deals, but you want to feel the energy. You want to feel it. Does it feel? And you guys will know. You'll just know. Like it feels so good, or it really does not. So think like that. But yeah, that can all happen. So Laura Crum says, if one aligns emotional energy with our spiritual energy, does this bring a piece of the soul that was separated or withdrawn by trauma back to wholeness? Great question. I would say so, because that's that integration, Laura. It's a great question. It's that integration of whatever the energy was. And it's funny because Shirley, we talk a lot about with Shirley somatic experience, and that's also a way of integrating that energy of, releasing the traumas and then integrating, back to wholeness. And that's the whole idea, about healing. So anyway, I just wanted to say that. So here we go. Ralph, love my astrology. Thanks, honey. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Hi, Sherry Traxinger. I hope you're well, sweetheart. Hey, Michelle and Bailey. Yeah. Oh, hey, Gayla. So tomorrow we have our 5 o'clock somewhere. If you're a member of this group that I have online, so you can find that on kelleewhite.com too. Okay, Yvonne Brubaker. She says my dad passed away on the 13th. Can I get a card? Oh, absolutely, Yvonne. I'm so sorry. Let's get you a card from your dad. I've got James's cards, Talking to Heaven, which I love these cards, Talking to Heaven. They are great. I've got chills. Oh, your dad, he is active. He is active. I think he slipped out of that body and went, what? I feel alive again. I always give you a good night kiss. There you go. So your dad is checking in on you. You know, he is checking in on you. And I'll tell you guys one of the things that you can do if you've lost a loved one, and really who hasn't at this stage, what you can do. And one of my clients did this, and it was so extraordinary. She lost her son. And she's an extraordinary woman, extraordinary. But she did something. She heard her son came to her after he had passed and said, Mom, take a selfie. And she's like, take a selfie? What did I just hear? Take a selfie? Like, she's not a take a selfie gal whatsoever. Very down to earth, very down to earth. Let me just repeat that. So she holds the camera and she takes a selfie of her, and his giant image appeared right next to her. It was extraordinary. So I would encourage everybody to do that. You know, I think, why not? Why not? Hey, Susie Wright, how are you? Good to see you. Recent breastfeeding cancer diagnosis, second time. Hopefully everything will work out in my favor. Let me get a card for you. I'm so sorry, Susie. You have been through a lot, haven't you? I'm going to use the angel numbers right now. Okay, the angel cards. Whoops. Hold on a second. Let me just shake them up a bit. A lot of people are going through their stuff right now. This Saturn, especially with Saturn will be retrograde next month. And I think it brings in a lot of issues that we all have to work on. And one of them certainly will be health for people. Okay, here we go, Susie. 1321. Interesting. Awareness. So be very aware. Be very aware. It will work out in your favor, but be very aware, Susie, okay, of everything that you're doing. And be, what is it? Be intentional. Be aware of everything. I think that's the good way to be. Let's see. Laura says, I've walked into rooms when it felt like I was trying to walk in quicksand. Yeah, exactly. That energy, and you guys would know, you're starting to really pay attention. Wendy says, I can't be in crowds anymore. I feel unbalanced, too much noise. That is so true. It's funny because I'm going to be going to Los Angeles. I'm really excited about going. I'm going to a wedding. I have a dear friend with Shirley. Shirley and I are going to a wedding together. And then I'm actually taking my grandchildren to Disneyland, and talk about crowds in the summer during Mercury retrograde. I know I'm going to be going, what was I thinking? Seemed like a good idea at the time. But I will have my aura spray around. That's exactly right. Oh, yeah, Wendy, you don't have to worry. Adopt. I am an adopter of dogs. We're a huge rescuer family here. So absolutely, Gail Hayden. Susie Wright, we agree. We'll keep you close in our thoughts for the best possible outcome. Oh, thank you. I was really sad about Charlotte. But to see your other dog, we'd never had two dogs before. And, oh, wow, the connection. And then to watch in real time the loss is something else. It's something to witness, I got to say. Hey, Jen, all of the above. Jen Tran, I'm going to get you a card, honey. 33. Ooh, I got chills. Well, you're such an old soul, Jen. But action, take some action there. Take some action. Not sure what that means in your life right now, but Charlene says, I love that you were doing the rescue route always. Rescues always seem to remember and are so appreciative and extra special, good, and even more loving. Oh, absolutely. Oh, we love our rescue girls and boys. We do. Okay, Misty Merriman says essential oils can help Otis with grief. If you have a true essential rose oil, I do actually. I actually have that. The True, it's so tiny. I have a tiny little bottle of that. And I have had it for a long time. And you can hardly use too much of that stuff. You can't use too much. I will do this. Also turn your autofocus off on your camera and ooh. All right. Thank you for the tips. Thank you. Oh my gosh. I'm coming in crystal clear. Must be the spray, Wendy. Oh my gosh. How does salt create a boundary? Salt has a certain energy to it, Wendy. And it just creates an energetic boundary around when you put salt around. It is the most clearing, and it's a purifying. That's why if let's say you've, had quite the day, whether because you were working as a medium, because you were teaching school all day, or whatever it happens to be, whatever it is, a bath with Epsom salt. And again, if you want to put some rose oil in, or whatever, lavender, something like that. But even with baking soda, you can kind of combine all of that. Oh my gosh. It's so purifying. You feel really good after that. So that lavender is great. Ralph, I don't know much about light codes, but I'm going to find somebody that does, and we'll have like an expert on. Okay, Ralph. So thank you for bringing that up. Light codes. I'm writing that down right now. It's a great idea. I think that is great. Wendy says, I think my energy is more spiritual. I've had 2 lifetimes of emotional energy. Emotional energy is something else. Oh, Renee, you're absolutely right. Wind chimes are wonderful for grief energy. Oh, it's so funny, Renee, that you would say that. After Charlotte passed, I was telling Dawn, it was unbelievable. We have some because we live in the Midwest, and here in Wisconsin, we get some ginormous winds. And so we have to be very careful when we put wind chimes up. But we have some heavy, heavy duty wind chimes that somebody made us. They're extraordinary and really heavy. And one note, and I can't remember what note it was, went off after she passed the next day and the next day. And there was no wind. It just made a bing, giant bing. And I know, and I turned it on and I said, oh, I know that's Charlotte for sure. Carlene says, Gettysburg was so awful. I couldn't wait to leave. Yeah, Carlene, that'd be a hard pass for me. Yeah. James and I had once talked about going there, but it would be a hard pass. I think he was there. Yeah. For me, I don't think so. Marlene says, I can't work at Walmart. That would be a tough one. That would be a very tough one. Gail says that Dr. Teal's, I love Dr. Teal's. I have a bunch of their products. Gail, great. Thanks for that suggestion. I do have their lavender Epsom salt liquid for the bath, and that is used for your autistic granddaughter. How fabulous. Great tip. I love these tips. Okay, Charlene says, Kellee, can I have a card? And your birthday is January 15. So let's talk about January 15. January 15 is a Queen of Diamonds. Queen of Diamonds do tend to worry a bit. But tomorrow you're having your nerves burned in your lumbar for pain relief. Twice I woke up from twilight anesthesia, and the last 2 times the ketamine was used, feeling nervous. Oh, honey, I understand. Let's get you a card. Bring your spirit guides in. Whoops, here, let me get you a card here. Bring your spirit guides in. I know you always do. And we'll say a prayer for you, Charlene. It's going to be okay. Tomorrow's actually a good day. Tomorrow is a good day. Here we go. Ooh, this is a good one. I've got chills. 2222. Now it says twin flame. But how about that twin flame is you? Bring your extra energy in. Bring your energy into that. Bring your higher self in. Is really the message there. Bring your higher self in, Charlene. Okay, I think that's great. I think that would be a great thing. Oh, thanks, Desk Camp. I appreciate that, Desk Camp Dons. I appreciate that. Let's see. Oh, Amber Lily says, Kellee, we had to put our beloved cat of 18 years down on June 11th, and it just broke our hearts. I tell you what, Amber, it is a heartbreaker, isn't it? And anybody who's really had great loss like that understands that. I know he's in a better place, but let's get a card from him. You betcha. Choose love. That's what he says. Life's a series of choices. Choose love. So look for little hearts with him. Look for hearts with your cat. Okay. I am so sorry, honey. You wish they could all be around forever, but they cannot. But either can we. And I promise you'll reunite with him on at the Rainbow Bridge when it's your time. Okay. Okay. Marlene Schlattman says, I had a black mass once, saged the heck out of my house and lost the video on it. Huh. Interesting. Okay. So Maura says, I'm so super sensitive to energy lately, and I do my best to sweep energy that's not mine. That's a great thing. And as you become a little more aware, a little more consciousness into the reality that we are in on Earth, then again, make good choices, but you will get more sensitive. You do get more sensitive. And you also, a lot of people really just don't want to do much now because this energy it's intense. July will bring us to a place of really looking at our lives in a different way. I'm really looking forward to talking about that next week. Hey, Lori from Fargo, North Dakota. It was great to have you and James together. Wasn't that fun last week? I can't wait. Well, James and I will get together again, and he is busy, as you know, sold his house, busy packing and moving. So here we go. And if I have any messages for you regarding health, I'd love it. 7/29. Well, your birthday, Lori, is right when actually on, I have it here. Hold on a second. Your birthday is July 29th. Okay, that is a big one for next month because that is two things happen. And I'm going to talk about it next week, but it's a full moon in Cancer and it conjuncts Pluto. And there's so much I want to say about it. But what the most astounding thing about July 29th is it's in a position called Guru Purnima. And I'm going to talk about that. And it's this dispeller of darkness and ignorance. It's this amazing energy that comes out, and that's your birthday. Wow. We will talk about that next week. So hi, Debbie Jones. How are you? You lost your sister-in-law 2 weeks ago, and my dear friend of over 50 years. Debbie, I'm so sorry. I've got chills. Well, Debbie, you've had a lot of loss, but they're with you. Oh my gosh. Okay, your sister-in-law says I have no more earthly worries. So I'm not sure what was going on with her, Debbie, but I am so sorry. You have suffered a lot with a lot of losses, a lot of stuff, but tremendous amount of losses, and I'm thinking about you, Debbie, a lot. I was just thinking about you. So I hope if you need me, reach out. Okay. Hi, Isabella. Oh my gosh. So Sherry says July 2nd is the anniversary of the death of my dad. And July 6th is the death anniversary of my sister, Kelly. Could I get a card from my family? It's amazing what can show up in pictures. You bet. As a soul, they can be in several places at once. Did they have anything to do with animals, horses, unicorns? Think about that. Was there anything with your sister particularly that had that? And I'm sorry, Sherry, that's a lot of loss in a small amount of time too. It is amazing what can show up in pictures. I know, Marlene, that October is better for Disneyland. And the cards didn't work out that way for me. I couldn't agree more. I'm from LA. I definitely know that one to be true. But I'm going to just go for it. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. Somora says, my sister's dog crossed over the Rainbow Bridge and missed his presence so much. Would love a card for my sister's dog. And you did Reiki for him. How great. And by the way, I had wonderful people doing energy work for me. And Judy Friedman, shout out to you. Fabulous. And Michelle Kavanaugh did fabulous. And I'm going to tell you what, if you are looking for an animal psychic too, and Reiki person, really, Michelle Kavanaugh's family is fabulous. Snowy Owl Intuitive Services. But let's get you a card for your sister's dog. There is no time where I am. Time is only on the earth. Well, that is true. That is true. There is only time on earth, which tell her they will be together again. Okay. Patty says, my Maggie grieved something awful when I lost my dog, Sam. It was hard to watch. Right? Thanks, Patty. I appreciate you saying that. Please know that Charlotte will send you a new furry friend when the time is right. Oh, I have no doubt of that. And I'm just waiting till I come back from my trip. It's me holding it up. It'd be too much, I don't want to bring a new one home and then leave, period. Full stop sentence. So Anne Margaret says, Kellee, I have a question. I have had 3 to 4 nightmares in the last 2 weeks. I haven't had one in 40 years. Any idea why? The dream is somebody trying to get in at 2:44 a.m. Well, Anne Margaret, you remember when that actually did happen, when somebody was trying to get in? Did you ever deal with the trauma of that? Because that was wildly traumatic for you. And didn't it happen twice? I can't remember the exact story, but something happened there. And so why is that coming up now? Trauma comes up. And if it wasn't in the middle of the night too when that happened, I can't remember exactly, but to me, it means something that is you need to look at again. Like those are so traumatic. If somebody tries to break in your house in the middle of the night, are you kidding? That is wildly traumatic. So that's what I think is coming up. That's what I'm thinking. Evie says, I was blessed to having a wonderful trip in Europe. Yes. And it recharged your batteries. Okay. Descamp Dawn says, tell me about black salt. I don't know. I think it is different. It's got different properties to it. I have some at the house to cook with, but I have not cooked with it yet. But it does have different properties here. Okay. Yvonne says, I don't know if you pulled. Hi, Yvonne. How are you? A card for my dad who had passed on the throne. I had. If you watched the show early on, Yvonne, I did. And I think it was He Kisses You Every Night, but I can't remember. I think that's it. Wendy said, when Sally died, Lucy did not want another dog. She had all her cats, and that's how she dealt with her death. Okay. There you go. Isabel says, can I have a card? Yes, absolutely. Let's get you. Ooh. Really a good one. 444, the angels and protection. I love that. I mean, what's better than the angels, right? Okay, you're so welcome. Let's see. Okay. Let us see here. Okay, Evie says my birthday's coming up on the 28th. So the 28th of June. The 28th of June, right at that full moon, by the way. June 28th. Is it 2 of clubs? So 2 of clubs is all about the friendship card. We call that, being a friend to somebody and connection with somebody. And all 2s also come to earth to overcome fear. So I hope that helps. But let me get you a card here. Ooh, 369. Compassion. Have compassion for yourself and everybody around you. Gayla says, I did love my trip to Japan, but when I was in Busan, South Korea, I was having a very hard time and almost panic attacks from all the people in the streets. Well, Gayla, I bet. And trying to stay with the guide and not get lost, that could be alarming. That could actually be alarming. I remember that kind of happened to me a little bit in India. I didn't have that problem in Japan. Wow. I mean, it's, to get lost in a foreign country can be frightening, can be exhilarating, and it can be frightening. Okay, Tiffany says, can I get a card? Yes, let's see. 427, be authentic. Be authentically yourself, Tiffany. That's what the angels are saying to you. Okay. Okay. Wendy says, I'm going to be trampled at the Rainbow Bridge. Okay, might be my favorite comment of all time. I'm going to be trampled at the Rainbow Bridge. And to my niece, Peggy, if you're watching this, you're going to be trampled by your dogs, your horses, your cats. You're going to get trampled. Okay. I so love that you said that. Oh my gosh. That is so great. Marlene says, I'm trying to look for a different job and work my spiritual business up and running. I will tell you, this Mercury retrograde will bring us back to look at what opportunities should we be doing now? And this going forward, this next period is deeply about spirituality and consciousness. And so a lot of people will be heading into that arena of deep spirituality and looking at, ways to do that, to work your passion, if you will. Let's see. Let us see. Here we go. Let's see. Okay, and Margaret, it was 12:44 a.m. when it happened. Thank you. And yes, I did some EMDR, but it was not enough. Yeah, it wasn't enough, clearly. EMDR is very good. Somatic work. You should have a session with Shirley. Shirley's, yeah, I mean, if that's a possibility here, because that is, yeah, there's no, the meaning of it in this case is that the trauma of it, because that was really traumatic any which way. I remember when you told me about it, I was traumatizing to hear even. I felt so sorry for you because you do, you feel, oh, it's just an awful thing. So yeah, I think that you need some work on that one. That's what it's telling you. Okay. Let's see. What else can I say here? Well, everybody, yeah, all souls come to overcome fear. And then you had a nightmare. Okay. And dealing with that fear. But the funny thing about that fear is, there's nothing funny about it. It's a real thing that did happen. So that's why somatic therapy, I think, would be really, really good. Okay. So everybody, yes, Lisa says, can Mercury retrograde make me feel inwardly anxious? It could. So, but it also can, this is in Cancer. Let's see, that's what I said, right? Hold on a minute. I just want to make sure before I say that out. Again, this Mercury retrograde is in Cancer, of the home. So if it will bring up a lot of emotions for people, I think, to work on. But anyway, everybody, I will see you next Tuesday with Dr. Shirley and Pellizzeri. I forget the name of our topic, but it'll be a good one. And then I will be here next Thursday to do the Vedic astrology for July. Join me on Saturday if you are so inclined, because it's a 2-hour workshop, but it's going to be really interactive about personality disorders, how to deal with them, what to do. And we're going to give you a lot of good tips and a lot of good energy for this, a lot of good information for this. And it's going to be interactive. So if you're dealing with a spouse or a family member or a worker, a sibling, a mother, a father, any of that, join us, because we have a lot of experience in this area. Yes, we do. So please join us this Saturday. And I'm also excited because this Sunday in our Whispers of the Soul group on my app, Maggie is going to be doing for us an 8 silk teaching, everybody, of Qigong. So please join us, because it's going to be great. So, all right, everybody, take care, my friends. Have a great week.
You've been listening to Ask Me Anything, featuring spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.